Welcome to Instant Discussions, episode 10.
What?
That was an instant discussion on Catholics and drinking.
You missed it though. Maybe.
When?
Now I might have to include
Oh,
it.
you might have to include it. Look what you did. You're already.
Can't believe
Setting-
10 episodes. It seems
I know, that's
10
weird.
episodes,
Yes, we
already,
did.
not including
Jeez.
bonus mini episodes.
Right?
It seems like 10 weeks ago.
We ate milk and cookies.
We now
chocolate hot
have
dogs.
more episodes than subscribers.
Yes. Milestone.
Woo! We are discussing Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog.
Yeah.
Now, this is the first. Well, all right. When we discussed A Liar's Autobiography, that one wasn't really a
Well, I wasn't-
feature film.
I wasn't here.
Huh? You weren't here for that. That one wasn't really a feature film, so that was that was the first one. Wasn't really that.
So if you weren't here, it doesn't count, right?
No.
So that episode never happened.
No, this is my 9th episode.
Okay.
I don't know why they're celebrating.
That actually was one of our more popular ones too. It's about
I wonder
20
why.
views on it. Things.
Some marketing research
Can't
into the
handle
structure
this.
They can't
of the
handle.
podcast.
Yes, but this is the first. It's definitely. It wasn't filmed as a movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was shot as a series.
Oh yeah, this is the first time we're doing something that isn't
Yeah.
meant to be a full feature film.
Exactly. But before we get too much into that discussion, we should start off by introducing ourselves first. John.
Steffan.
Tony.
Good. I'll
I'm
you first,
Bernie.
man. Bernie. Bernie is our special guest, and
I'm special.
he's very special.
We decided to have him here because we like him.
I
I wrote the short bus to the podcast.
You used to perform with Rocky Horror Picture Show
Yep.
in Los Angeles, Sins of the Flesh.
Yep, I was a 17-year veteran of Rocky Horror in Los Angeles, and I'm a midnight movie entrepreneur, as it were. I run a Friday midnight movie series in Hollywood called Nerds Like Us.
It's a very good series. Do great films like that.
Got Goonies coming up next Thursday, followed by Spaceballs on Friday.
Spaceballs, that's a good one.
At
Yeah.
the Vista. Yep.
Yep. And they're always great films and Nerds Like Us. Some good stuff.
the
You were
t-shirt.
also co-starred with me in the Rocky Horror Picture Show Blu-ray.
Yes.
Both
I
of
was
us
a
were
feature in
prominent
Rocky Horror Picture
roles.
Show Blu-ray, yes.
Yes. So check that out and special features. Watch them shadowcast.
We're
the
that
thing.
big on your TV, like the size of my phone. Right?
Yeah. If you've got a big enough TV, yeah, we're that big. That's good stuff. So yes, enough with that. Now we're discussing you. On to discussing Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog. I liked it so much, I bought the company. Yeah.
He sponsored his evil deeds.
After rewatching this, I thought I had to own it and also to listen to the commentaries, which is good because I was inspired by our Memento episode, which got such great response.
I'm sure people will love it.
Yeah, I'm sure people will turn it off in the first.
Such a
first
positive
10
and
minutes.
uplifting movie.
Yes.
Fan favorite.
We kind of mementoed our Memento episode.
Yeah.
So I was kind of inspired by that, and I was like, okay, maybe we can do some musical stuff in this episode.
How can we make this
Horrible. So I was going to write a musical or a song kind of talking about the backstory and the writer's strike, but then I listened to commentary of the musical, and they already did that.
Oh.
So if you want to hear that type of song, they do a good version of it in commentary of the musical. It's available on iTunes and on the DVD.
Really, the release of this is part of its cult, fandom. Is that this was the only thing that you could get for that 4 or 5 month period that strike was happening when kind of all of LA stopped. And any of you watching that aren't from LA don't understand that a writer's strike can cripple this city. And it was amazing, really, when that happened, and there wasn't anybody doing anything except for Joss doing his little Dr. Horrible blogs, and it was really just a crazy rabid cult phenomenon.
Yeah, it's interesting because the writer's strike was about largely about getting paid for new media showings because they already had things in the works for VHS tapes. They didn't have as much for DVD, and that's what they were kind of going into as well. And they had stuff for syndication for writers getting paid for that beyond just the first showing, but they didn't have anything in their contracts already about internet showings. So at the time, that's when the TV networks started realizing they could put stuff online, showing stuff on Netflix and on Hulu. And the writer said, well, this wasn't part of our contract. We're not getting paid for any of these additional viewings. So that was part of the deal. So when Joss Whedon produced this, he created it in a way that it kind of worked around all of those things, and also just getting some new content, like as you were saying, out there.
And quite the family collaboration.
Yeah.
Every Whedon that has ever existed pretty much worked on Dr. Horrible.
Yeah, and as far as the strike goes too, those people are bastards because now we have nothing but reality TV, just horrible horseshit.
Or they just, renew, ravage, and rape our childhood and take anything that was good in the 80s and recycle it into some piece of crap
Like
directed by Michael Bay.
And they didn't really get much out of it, right? So thanks, writer's strike.
They started pulling out the scripts. They're like, "Oh, we had this lying around, so we'll shoot this one." And
horrible.
that was a bad time.
And the first one flops, and they make a sequel. CGI Joe.
Oh, I just saw that.
G.I. Joe.
All right, I'm gonna do
The first one was so bad. How do you make a second one? I don't mean to derail us. Let's go back to Dr. Horrible.
All right,
Yeah,
we can talk for a while on that. Yes. So Dr. Horrible, created for the internet in a 3-part blog series, and I really like that it starts out just as someone would do their blog, and it's a parody of internet shows, internet blogs, where just anyone can get a camera and talk on YouTube.
Feels very amateur the way he's Neil Patrick Harris is presenting it. Yeah.
And similar to our discussion of long takes in other movies we were discussing. It starts off with about a 4-minute single shot take. I was hearing on the commentaries they did 4 takes of that, and so didn't do too many. Of course, it's a low budget, but I'm sure shooting digital doesn't matter too much.
Yeah, and that's how it'd be too if somebody's doing a YouTube thing.
Yeah,
just sit with the camera, so it makes it more authentic.
He's not going to edit together different shots there. So anytime he's just talking to the camera, unless there's a break in time, like which happens later on when he goes away to do a robbery and comes back, it's just a single shot on him.
I love how they kind of use that as a film mechanic, though, and it really, really works.
Yeah,
really well.
And then you take off, and when they get into the musical numbers, they can kind of break reality a little bit and do more with their shots.
And with those songs, I was singing those stupid songs all week.
They really are like the dumbest songs,
really,
but they're so catchy.
Yeah, they are. I was whistling like doo doo doo. Going down the halls at work, and I was like, stop it.
So you are the one who picked this film.
Yes.
You said...
I mean, and we credit Joss Whedon.
You've created your own hell.
We credit Joss for being such a brilliant writer, and I mean, it really read like a 6-year-old wrote those songs.
Yeah, and you've got Zach Whedon writing on this as well.
Oh, that
Zach, man, he is good. A lot coming from him. Mm-hmm.
But you picked this one, and you said the first time you watched it, you liked it.
Yes,
and you were drunk.
You watched.
I was down at Comic-Con. We were drinking. My friend's like, "We gotta watch this." I said, "Okay." I said, "This is the best thing ever." And then a year later, I started watching it again, and I was like, "Wow, this isn't as good as I remember." But going back into it, I think one of the things that helped was I went online and kind of read the history of the strike and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So, kind of like if somebody tells you you're going to go on a date with, like, a non-attractive chick, a little chubby, and then you really like her personality, and you're like, sweet, instead of the other way around.
Yeah.
It's one way to put it.
If you look at this like this is a feature film, and you're going to see that, like, you just said, all right, I just saw Avengers.
You just alienated a chunk of your audience right there.
Well, it's totally
We can't afford to alienate any chunks of our audience.
Each chunk is very valuable of each person.
Let's stop calling them chunks.
Sloth love chunks.
But if you think of, someone just sees Avengers, directed by Joss Whedon, like, that was awesome. I want to see another superhero film directed by Joss Whedon. Dr. Horrible. Oh, this looks awesome. I'm going to watch this film. And they expect Avengers? Yeah. Well, you get a really creative thing.
Yeah.
No, it's kind of like when a band breaks through with their breakthrough album, but then you want to find their old stuff because you want to be the more knowledgeable person about that band, and it's like their garage recording.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what this is for Joss.
And it shows all of the talent and all of the everything that they have in there, but on I think it was $200,000 budget.
Was that much? Wow.
Yeah.
Where'd 100,000 of that go? Jeez.
They shot part of it on Universal Backlot. I'm sure that
did, yeah.
Took some
part
stuff.
of it at my friend Jonathan's house, actually. The mad scientist house that is Dr. Horrible's lair. is actually my friend Jonathan's house. It was redone for that show Monster House way back, where they would like come and redo your house and so that motif was actually there was no set building put into that. That's just his place.
He already had a mad scientist lair.
Nice.
Yeah. So that saves quite a bit of money.
Yeah. So I watched it again, and I really did enjoy it this time.
Good.
Like right away, I like how it's really one of the things I liked it is we already kind of know these characters. They're like stereotypical, so you don't have to have that huge, background on them or whatever. And then so everything that's added on to this, evil character that we already have is just, additional stuff that some movies you have to.
They're archetypal characters. You basically you've got your villain, your hero, and your damsel in distress, and
she's oddly attractive.
Yes, but I don't know. I mean. You have a very flawed hero in Captain Hammer.
Yes.
With
the
he's not the oozing
hero.
Arrogance.
He's the
in this story he's the villain in our story from our point of view.
Yeah.
Antagonist, but he is a hero.
Yes,
right.
He is a hero.
Yeah.
But that's something where an adult would get into in books and things and find something like that. But a kid hasn't seen that. And teenagers haven't really seen heroes portrayed as the villains and villains portrayed as the heroes. So actually, it's really very different and innovative to go that route, and generally speaking, not that making money was the point of it.
No.
But that's part of the reason that you never see it, because the studio will tell you, no, you can't do that. You're not going to make any money if you make that picture.
I mean,
It'd be good to show children actually.
After this, they did have.
So we want to teach children to worship the villains.
No, it's
Just to think twice about bad people.
Yeah.
Well,
like
some of
liberals now.
we've had ones
Give it a second
recently
thought.
like Despicable Me or Megamind where they
Right.
show the villain, but those ones they don't really have the story strength that this one does, or getting into the personal aim of the villain.
Surprisingly dark ending too for where it was.
Well, I really liked the ending. Like I remember the first time I watched it, and I was just like, I kind of went into this whole, like me just sitting there thinking about what happens after that he gets super dark and starts just annihilating everybody and raping dogs.
Yeah.
And like I liked making that story in my mind. Like that was really fun for like half an hour.
That's what since this
Half an hour of thinking about raping dogs.
No, that was just like 2 seconds. Like one,
okay, he's normal.
two. Yeah. Not a pervert.
Only 2 seconds.
But I don't know if you guys did that though. I do that in a lot of movies, but
think
No, the dog part.
Dream about raping dogs.
No, not the dog part. Forget I said the dog part.
Hollywood, make this man a director. I've got to see his stuff.
But the additional story that you make up in your mind. So
yeah, and that's part of this when we're showing the who's going to be the villain or a person who's going to be the villain in this, and doing it from his point of view. What I like in screenwriting is you never, if you want to make a well-rounded story with well-rounded characters, no one is just evil, just pure evil, because that's boring. You can do it, and it can make some things interesting if you're doing the more cartoony you're going.
It only works when they're pure evil in such a dominating sense. Like their evil's just overwhelming. Otherwise,
like
it's
a Lord
not
of the
captivating.
Rings.
But the best thing is if each character has their own motives, and the thing that creates the antagonist and protagonist is their motives go against each other, and they cross paths.
Yeah.
Now he has his views on society, and he wants to change society, and he's doing these things to upset the status quo, cause.
He just wants attention. He wants acceptance
He
from Bad
does.
Horse.
Yeah, he wants acceptance, and he wants his girl. And so the things that could be turning him good are Penny. That's the one hope that he has for being good. And when he loses that, and especially losing that because of Captain Hammer, that's the thing that's going to propel him to seek vengeance against Captain Hammer mostly, and that creates this super villain that now he's going to have. So the same way that with Batman losing his parents and wanting to fight crime with that, spoiler alert.
that's how it started.
It's you need that motivation.
Depends on which version of Batman you're watching.
Yeah.
The vivid version. One thing I like about Captain Hammer is just at first it seems like his motive is just he wants to bang her because it's his arch enemy. Like I think he got off on that. That was a huge part of it.
He also wants attention, but he actually gets attention just because he gets it from his look, his physique, and he's created this.
The other thing I like about
character.
Captain Hammer too is like I know a Captain Hammer, and I'm sure you guys do too. The cocky, just hey, I'm better than everybody. Or maybe not.
I've known
That was my
people-
20s.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Nah, I didn't know you too well. Who we assume?
Yeah, you could say I've done someone like that.
Yeah,
Stop
But
looking
that's
at
a-
me.
I don't think Captain Hammer ever thought about raping dogs. I don't know, not that far.
No person in their rational mind has a thought about raping dogs.
No.
Well, to be fair, I guess you
Stop
can't
thinking
really,
about raping dogs.
You can't really rape, but you kind of make love to them. So, wait, never mind.
You even know where you're going with this.
Spam his wall. Yes.
Hey, I like how he's so like evil and he knows how to take over the world and do all this stuff. But when it comes to Penny, he's like clueless. He's just like, oh, I happen to have some more frozen yogurt. And, oh, I'm the nice guy and I'll be your best friend forever.
He hasn't. He doesn't seem to. I don't think he's ever found a place to fit in society, and hasn't found a lot of friends except for Moist.
Yeah.
But
So random.
Well, it's also been a screw up. I mean,
Yeah.
the liquefied gold bars.
He's
If it's gold
Hammer's
bars, no.
entrance is another failed, villainous attempt by it's
his
really,
freeze way, not taking time to warm
Right.
up. But
Yeah.
he's had many screw ups, but I think
and that's why he doesn't know how to talk to Penny, because
Yeah.
he just doesn't have anything that's a source of confidence for him. And that's why you want to sympathize with him, because a lot of people can sympathize with that a lot more than they can sympathize with Captain Hammer.
especially a lot of comic book readers too. I
Right.
mean. The people looking for this, they're usually not the Captain Hammer characters. And so when you're reading a Superman book and you're like, this guy's invincible, everyone likes him. Doesn't really play so well. I think that's why you get more drawn to
Yeah, back in that time,
Batman
it was
and
more
stuff.
more just about the concept of that even occurring, and like that was the interesting part.
yeah, and that was just a spectacular story,
Yeah.
amazing stories. But this is definitely something that you can people who feel outcast by society, you can relate to that
Underdog.
a lot more.
Underdog.
Yeah, he's the underdog, and he gets his success, but at the terrible cost. And now he's lost everything. So he's got the success, but then that puts him in the position to be in the evil League of Evil. But as well, he now doesn't have the thing that's grounding him to good.
Dead horse.
So
I
he's
love how
now
he's
is
a
free
horse.
to evil.
Yeah.
Yes,
He's just a horse. You're like,
I mean, that's
oh, wow.
just like, really. I mean, they made a horse a character, not
Yeah.
even like it talks like it's a threat or anything in some kind of.
well, everyone
situation.
else, you just think of
Bad horse.
he's that horse. He's he's just
Yeah.
his mascot,
Yeah.
the horse. I mean, Captain Hammer's not a hammer.
Right.
The hammer is his penis, but Bad Horse. Bad Horse is
Did you know
a
the hammer's
horse.
his penis?
There you are,
It's
Peter.
what they call a single entendre. Yeah. Yeah, that was good. And we watched this together right after we shot the last episode, and you were commenting if the people in that final scene in Bad Horse's room, if those were like any cameo appearances.
Yeah.
Now, as the only one that I found was Drew Goddard, who is another writer who's written on some of
And there were a
his
lot of
shows
Whedon
and
relatives in that show.
yeah, it was. He just said Joss Whedon just said anyone that could put together a costume for
Yeah.
this villain, just come in here and shoot it. But yes, Drew Goddard was the fake one of the Jefferson, fake Thomas Jefferson, something like that.
Yeah.
So he's the writer or director and co-writer of Cabin in the Woods,
Right.
and also director of Cloverfield. So done some good stuff. He's a cool guy. At least we like. But also in the commentary they said, and I couldn't freeze frame it perfectly, but in the final battle scene, Sarah Michelle Gellar was in there. Apparently, she just likes to be involved in different projects, and she heard they were doing this. She's like, oh, I'm
Cool.
in. So yeah, she's just one of the people in the audience in that last scene.
She's just there.
Just there, just
Looking hot, sexy.
It's an interesting cameo thing. In there. Do you have notes you?
I don't know. Like these notes were just kind of notes
Oh,
that
yeah.
were just jotted down. I don't really remember writing them down at this point.
Oh, Bad Horse.
Yes.
I want more silly
Oh, Bad
musicals.
Horse.
There used to be a lot of
Yes.
silly musicals,
Yeah.
and then there were none. And then Dr. Horrible happened, and I kind of, having done Rocky for so long, I in my heart have a special place for silly musicals, and I was hoping this was the start of a revolution, and that didn't happen.
I'd like to see a prequel of this. I think that'd be awesome.
Well, they're working on a sequel.
Oh, a
Yep.
sequel.
Yeah, they are. They've announced it.
Did
and
they
they're-
shoot already?
I think they're starting to shoot, or they might be shooting. The last thing I heard was, I think it was at Comic-Con last year. They said production begins in 2013. So they're working on it.
A sequel though, that seems kind of hard. It ended on such a
But
sad.
this is the
messed
origin
up.
story. This is his origin story of that. So I mean, we don't know. We assume that
It's
Felicia
going to
Day's
be
not
hard
return, but
without
he could
Penny
do-
in it, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
Felicia Day has got a huge fandom behind her, and
Well, so does Neil Patrick Harris.
sure. I mean,
But with,
everyone in there does.
but with Joss Whedon and his connections, we don't know who else he could.
why does Joss
fall
have to
into.
kill someone and everything he does?
That's who he is.
Why do you got to like?
But it
Someone
it
in
tugs at
his
your
life died
emotions.
as a child.
Maybe.
No, you're.
I didn't look
probably-
into
you're
his
probably 100% right.
backstory.
Not like way to bring the whole podcast down.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, you're probably right.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
well,
should
he was a
have
child,
looked
or-
into that. Yeah,
or in
because
his
he always
family?
in everything he always kills off a
He kills
favorite
off
character.
a main, a beloved.
Yeah,
he kills
beloved
off a
character.
beloved character in everything
Yeah.
he does.
So I don't want to
Wait,
spoil
wants
every one
everyone-
of things, but
everyone
Yeah,
to
like
feel his pain.
everything.
everything he does.
He
Well,
killed
look
off.
at Disney. All the Disney movies.
Well, I mean,
Their
after
parents are all dead.
I wouldn't worry
This
about
one had a-
spoiling. It's just like a Night
Yeah.
Shyamalan.
Well,
that's what
It's
makes
like,
a good
it's not like
superhero is
M Night Shyamalan
non-existent
movie
parents.
doesn't have a twist.
Uh-huh.
I
dead,
promise.
dead or blown up on a distant planet or whatever. Like great
Yeah.
superheroes are made by non-existent parents, which is what makes you want to break the law. If
Yeah.
you want to get down to it. But
Comes from a place of
Serial
loss, and then you get to
killers
fill
are
that
also made.
loss.
Right?
by the loss of a father figure, by not having a father figure growing up.
That's something that's going to motivate
Makes it
it
more
in the
likely.
next in the continuation of this because he needs to fill the hole that Penny left.
I'd like to see Moist have just a huge part in the next one. Then.
Hopefully.
Super.
but then he's gonna die.
That's fine.
No, he will. Someone has to.
That's who's gonna die.
Yeah, because you can't just like introduce a new character and then kill them off. In
Right.
this one, it's going to have to be one of
That
the,
only happens
one
if
of
you
the
read Star Wars books.
main-
Yeah, build up a new character over 3 books, kill him in the 4th every time. But no, I mean, he kills off somebody in every way, and I don't understand why.
That was
Why
one of the
people
rules they
understand
made on
this.
Lost too with the writers, where every time your story resolved, they'd kill you off soon afterwards. So the
Oh,
actors knew don't always leave something hanging. Don't let your story conclude, because once someone's story concluded and they got their some type of either a happy moment or they realized that they wouldn't be able to be happy or something, then kill off. So that has the writing of Drew Goddard, who also teamed up with Joss Whedon now. They kind of work together and all that stuff.
So what you're saying is there's a lot of people in Hollywood that need some time on the couch with their therapist.
Yes, I think they do.
Yeah, there's a lot of compensation in Hollywood.
I mean, right?
Okay, fair enough.
Right, a lot of those producers and stuff were like little weenies and stuff, right? When they were younger.
Oh, the producers don't need any help. I mean, they're the money guys. all they do is follow the cash.
Yep.
They're pretty normal human beings. It's the creative ones.
Oh, okay.
Those are
Yeah,
the ones
those are
that
the ones.
Yeah.
need a stuffed animal or something.
Especially the most creative of any of those. The more creative you are, the more trouble you have
Probably.
in your past. But for more musicals like this, I mean, I've got only a few on my
Probably
shelf,
true.
but mostly from Trey Parker.
Yep.
Cannibal?
He does.
Oh, he had a good
Cannibal
one, yeah.
musical, South
Cannibal.
Park. The
Cannibal
movie
was
that-
not as good as I was hoping.
Oh, that was his
good.
first.
The
No,
music,
yeah.
the music's really fun, but everything that's not a musical,
Yeah.
that is
No, that-
like,
yeah.
It's
The
it's
story,
long,
you're like-
long,
and
yeah.
you're like,
Well, the drinking game.
Let's talk about that. One
Every time they say Colorado territory.
You can do that to anything then.
Yes,
You can watch
you can
Brokeback
drink anytime
Mountain
they
and
say
then-
Colorado territory in any movie.
Yeah, you could. I do it all the time. That's all I do. Not one drink in this movie.
No, it's completely sober film. Interesting.
Except that you were drunk for it.
No, not this last
but
time.
yeah, so no more musicals. I'm sad.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yep.
So she was
Well-
like, I was oddly attracted to her. I kept
Oddly
on,
attracted to Felicia Day.
yeah, like
Well, no,
she's
no,
not
I know exactly what he's
conventional,
saying.
like super hot, but it was like something is like I can
she's just,
understand.
she has this like
Yeah,
it
she
starts.
has.
There's just
She's
something
got that
about
really,
it
really
that's
toned down.
cute or
Yeah.
adorable, but in like a subdued way. And the more you watch her, you're just like,
Mhm.
And then she
really
sings.
adorable.
it's
And then she
just-
sings in her personality. And you're like, I could
Yeah.
marry that girl.
She really has it like fine tuned too. She's just
Oh,
got
yeah.
it down. Like and
You've seen her. Do you want to date my avatar video?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you're game over when you watch that.
Yeah.
Oh, she's all sorts of sexy in this like
Also,
video
you
game
see anything at the
cosplay.
Guild,
Yeah, she has a
which
web
she
series
says
called The
in,
Guild.
Oh, the
was the
Guild.
inspiration
I've never
for
watched
them
it
to do this
before.
movie. This
Okay.
movie. At least, yeah, she started that on the internet and is an internet series, and then it's
Yep.
like, all right, now we
That's
do more
like
internet stuff.
she made herself into
Yeah.
yeah,
what she is now.
And that's one of the reasons why I didn't like. I've started not to like Captain Hammer like even more. It's because she's so like, you know, cute and whatever, and you're kind of attracted, and you're like, this dude just wants to wreck her.
Yeah, he doesn't
Kinda
appreciate
like
her
guy
the way
on-
that the way that
like
Dr.
the guy
Horrible
on
is.
Mallrats.
Yes.
This is
Wow.
kinda like
Yeah, like Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
Mallrats.
and you're like, oh, you bastard.
Oh.
And then you start to feel
Backseat
for
of a
Neil.
Volkswagen.
Proprietor of fashionable male.
Yeah. it's definitely that kind of thing.
And I really did think that he was gonna.
Except, let's be fair. Ben Affleck wasn't going to be wrecking Shannon Doherty in Mallrats. That girl was wrecked already. Let's just be real about that.
yeah, a few times.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really, when I first saw it, thought that, at the end, Neil Patrick Harris was going to win her over. Like, it was kind of like,
because that's the typical Hollywood ending.
Yeah.
Oh,
thing.
yo,
It's,
at the coin laundry, it gets him every time.
yeah, sad.
You were thinking that it was gonna end like that?
I thought that some kind of tragedy was just going to happen, and that's what I had the feeling.
Well, you see, this helps perpetuate the Joss mythos of killing beloved
Yes.
characters. So I didn't see it coming because I didn't know he had such a
No, yeah, this
intensity for
was
it.
earlier in that when people didn't realize it as strongly.
Well, to that point,
The irony
he'd
is
had Serenity come out, so Wash
Yes.
dies. Sorry, spoilers. But Wash dies in that, and it's just like, the fandom wanted to turn on him for that.
Yeah.
And then you watch this, and once she dies, you're like, oh, by the way, spoilers, sorry.
Because they haven't.
Once she dies, you're like, why does he keep doing that? Then you're watching Avengers, and you go, oh, Coulson's dead. Because it can't be one of the Avengers, so it's going to be Coulson.
I think if that movie's made over $1 billion, we can spoil that one. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's always that character that's just important enough to make you
spoilers,
want to
sorry.
cry.
Yeah, like they could.
It's not important
That's
enough.
especially
that if
one where
kill
they
him,
didn't
it's-
have to do more movies off of, so he's not losing any money for Marvel or Disney
Right.
on that. Although
But
all
he's
of the
beloved.
fans
Love
loved him, yes. And part of great writing is creating emotion, and that's something you get with horror films. You get with scaring people, or if you're making a documentary that making people think, you can make people angry, any of that stuff. But so this one, if they just make people happy in this, then that's fun. But you're not gonna remember it, and you're not as much as you will if they build you up and make you love characters and then destroy them, but for meaningful purpose. There's a reason why she's
No,
being destroyed.
I didn't see Cabin in the Woods, but I'm going to assume people die in that.
Well, I don't want to spoil any of that because that's
Yeah.
that's
No.
one for us that we don't
just
talk about.
We don't talk about.
But we do recommend, and I've got the DVD. If you want to watch it.
I've heard it's really great. But
I'll just put it on there,
So
yeah.
I mean, I'm just
It's
I don't even think I should say that.
Yeah,
Anyway.
don't say you're gonna ruin
I
it
don't
for
think I should
everybody.
say that.
yeah. Just all we can say is watch it.
So
no matter
one-
what you think of what it's going to be. Just
One
watch
thing
it.
that I didn't like was when the guys did the backup in.
The Bad Horse,
Yeah, like a
which
couple
they were saying that was
times.
the toughest one to film too.
Really? I was like,
I-
it's a little bit too corny.
It was
Again,
an interesting.
That was the Whedon family reunion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, was that what that was?
Just getting all of them in there.
Oh, okay. Well,
It
I
was-
guess that makes sense.
It's
Brothers,
kind of-
sisters, any second cousins twice removed lying around
Yeah.
here, hop in the shot.
Hey, if you're doing something where you're not paying the actors, it's the easiest actors to get are them.
Yeah.
Which I like what I read is that because they didn't pay any of the actors for it, the first thing they did with the DVD sales and with the iTunes sales, they paid back all the actors.
Oh, that's
and,
cool.
What made like $3 million about on that? And
Not bad for an
Forbes,
internet.
he said, yeah,
Yeah.
for $200,000 you took $3 million. That's good.
That's
and especially
wait,
no
3
studio
million just on DVDs or with the
on
instants and
DVD
everything?
with all
Digital
of them.
download,
digital
yeah,
downloads,
yeah,
all of
yeah.
that. But
Plus merchandise.
yeah,
Merchandising. Merchandising. Real money from the movie is made.
they do have Captain Hammer the T-shirt.
Yeah, I've seen that. Comic Con.
It's the easiest cosplay in the world. Like I didn't have something
Yeah.
for the first Comic Con I went to, and but I had the T-shirt, and I went to look at the costume. I'm like, oh,
Done.
black gloves, I can get those. You know, the cargo pants, I probably have a pair of those. It's regular, dock boots. Like there you go.
I could be moist.
Yeah. It's one of the most
I'm
uncomfortable ones. Just everything wet.
It's the worst power ever.
Make everything slightly damp.
Lots of good Dr. Horribles walking around with their
Do
wonderful
you need anything moistened?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. So it's definitely got.
And this is pre like Nathan Fillion blowing up really. Like he was cult hero in Firefly, but like he's really blown up since Castle got big.
Yeah.
And
This really
is
helps.
pretty
It helped Felicia Day a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, she still mostly stays on the internet with a lot of her stuff.
Right.
But her channel is huge.
Yeah,
On YouTube, it's
She also just seems like such an unassuming person.
Yeah.
Like she's happy with her little internet
and
world
authentic to the nerd community.
very,
too.
very authentic.
That's a good thing. She's
Now,
not
there's a
opposed
lot
to
of
that.
interesting subject for another day sometime, but there's a lot of authentic nerd girls that also can mainstream really well and be big personalities, but they are legit nerds.
Yeah.
It's very suggestive. The
Oh.
picture.
Yeah, a little bit. Wait, let's just product placement.
Totally see that. I'm sure.
I'm sure they'll see
Especially on the
everything.
podcast.
They're
It
all
looks like he's
"Tilt
holding a
it,
cock.
Tilt it back. I don't know. They're probably just going to see
Yeah.
themselves. Because
Uh,
you can do that with the internet.
and that gun that he was holding at the end was pulled from one of the prop houses there, and they said it wasn't a Starship Troopers gun, but on Firefly they used a ton of Starship Troopers.
Right.
Because they just have it standing around.
They just yoinked it. They're like, we'll use this.
Yeah. So with the gun and with the house,
Funny.
like a lot of these sci-fi stuff, the props guys get to have a lot of fun creating the new devices. But I guess Joss isn't too interested in a lot of that. Just grabbing like, that already exists. I'll grab that. So what? As I guess because like especially with if it's not
I
an
feel
iconic.
like that's how I would make a
Yeah.
Although
Although
I'm not going to micromanage the details of what the guns look like.
No,
you know.
yeah. Although
give
he
me a
did-
space gun.
he
Give
held
me a
it-
cowboy in space with a gun.
Yeah.
You know, like give me something that's relatively appropriate. And if it's already prepackaged, hell.
They did say he held the gun upside down so that it didn't look like the gun that they
Ah.
used and whatever they used before or what they created it for. So like, yeah, so he's holding it awkwardly a little bit. If you rewatch that, and like a little weird positioned in there.
But you were going to say it helped, skyrocket Felicia Day's popularity and probably Nathan Fillion a lot too.
Yeah, and I mean Neil Patrick Harris has been huge
He's
forever.
That's a different world. But
Yeah.
it's you now like you look for this
Moist.
Neil Patrick Harris.
Poor
You look
Moist.
you look for him, parodying himself and Harold and Kumar. Like that's what we all want to see him do.
Yeah.
And he's got this like.
And that's when
great
he
groove.
became gay. Not a lot of people know that.
Yeah, the musical actually turned him gay.
Yeah.
Then
Not really actually funny story. I know a friend who I won't mention that tried to sleep with him back in 2000. He was hanging out with some other friends of ours, and that didn't work out, and she ended up with his friend instead because he was straight and NPH wasn't. So.
no,
I would try
That's
just for
pretty-
the story.
that's something that I guess NPH could do is any friends that hang out with him is like, no, but this guy.
Right.
And it's like,
That's the best position ever. Oh my god, that's
pretty
awesome.
Pretty good wingman. I
Wingman
guess.
at Gay Oh my god, that's perfect.
Wow.
I wonder what that dude from Will and Grace is doing these days.
I don't think you're in any position.
No.
Nah.
You've got to be in the right position.
So does this make you want to like make a musical? It seems like it would
It makes me. I mean, I've written
Why
a
would
few
you
that
make
I
a
want to just
musical
produce
anyway?
my
I'm
stuff.
just saying.
Like,
I mean,
it's
But watching this and to know the background story and the way they put it together seems like
when it's
probably
done.
do this.
I
it's
want to
done
make
right,
superhero musicals.
Mm.
There should be superhero musicals.
Spider-Man.
Get cut.
That we did it. Our
That are
first
meant to be
Spider-Man
comedies and are
Harrison
not comedy because of their poor execution.
Yeah. It's
Get the SoCal cosplay community out and let's make
Yeah.
a big freaking
we've
musical.
got the costume
number,
rights, we got the
right?
stuff.
Yeah, we got a bunch of people.
We can put this on. All right, that's a project down the line that we'll
I'm in.
we'll need to work
I'm
on.
a Bash the Stampede.
Yes.
I got so many. Yeah.
Alright.
We've got a lot of
We'll
people
work on
that have
stuff.
costumes.
We know the people.
Yeah.
All right. Any other thoughts about Dr. Horrible before we wrap this up? We do usually like to stay shorter than the film, and we're at 34 minutes.
Oh,
so
good.
we're still
Oh, wow.
Shorter than the film.
well,
okay.
shorter than the film. This one's tougher for that.
So what
And it
happens
was
if
a
you review
film.
Wyatt Earp?
I don't
Or the English patient?
We'll just
As long as we don't
well,
do the master.
once we do the House of Cards. That one.
Oh yeah. House of Cards
we'll
is
have
good.
plenty of time to do our review of House of Cards.
Or Arrested Development's coming up.
Yep.
About a
Yeah.
month
We'll
away.
do.
Oh, that'd be so good.
All right. Those ones will be fun. So yeah, Dr.
Yeah.
Horrible. Good
Short one,
stuff.
yeah.
Go enjoy other Joss Whedon products. He also
You
had.
already do, I'm sure.
I'm sure. He also had. He did direct an episode of Glee with Neil Patrick Harris in it. I haven't.
That was a
seen
great
that.
episode.
Okay. I'm
Oh
hoping
my
it was
God.
good because I haven't seen that.
So
I'll check it out.
So good.
Glee's
Back when-
horrible now.
No, it used to be all right.
Yeah,
Like,
the
I
first
into
season
it.
was
Like,
good.
Even the second one, like
That's when it turned to
I like
shit.
covers and stuff. Is the end? No. It was the once Blaine came in and all that, and he's great actually. He's the only redeeming quality of Glee anymore. But kind of around then, I don't know what happened to the writing, But no, that episode with Neil Patrick Harris, he's in a singing duel of Aerosmith's "Dream On" against Schuster. So
these people are.
Matthew Morrison, the main character.
Okay, I know him.
So it's him versus Neil Patrick Harris going
Morrison.
verse by verse in an audition, and they're doing "Dream On," and it's like this big stage looking awesome.
Well,
great
Joss
scene.
Whedon directed. Of course, it's going to look good.
Yeah.
He also did Once More with Feeling.
Yep.
NPH
From Buffy the
musical.
Vampire Slayer.
So NPH dies at the end. Okay.
Yeah, NPH dies at the end of Glee. He has to. Of course. Oh, if only Liam Michelle could die at the end of that.
If only Liam Neeson was in the movie, he'd be sad.
He's a huge card.
That's the only
Liam
thing I
Neeson
know about
dies in
that
most of
show.
his films.
Those two people.
He was?
Liam Neeson dies in a lot of his films.
Oh.
Spoiler alert. I just about to watch
Except for
Schindler's
Taken.
List.
Any of those.
Star Wars.
Because he's a badass.
Okay.
Damn, you just spoiled the Phantom Menace for everyone.
Oh, good.
No, George Lucas did a good enough job of that already.
Set you up.
All right. Good.
Did that for you guys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't next to it.
Team player.
Yeah. I don't know if was there any other musical they looked up that he did. I think that's it so far.
Joss, no.
He hasn't planned. I think Avengers 2 is supposed to be a musical. We'll see how that turns out.
Oh, man, that'd be
Goes
awesome.
well. He also directed the pilot for S.H.I.E.L.D. Wrote and directed the pilot for S.H.I.E.L.D. on ABC. We'll anticipate seeing that, hopefully.
Starring Clark Gregg.
Yes. As Agent Coulson. So, probably a flashback. Probably it takes place before Avengers. Maybe. Unless they bring it back to life. I don't know. They have their magic ways. But it is supposed to be set in the same universe as Avengers, which is cool because then it choreographs with the movies. Hopefully they don't Wonder Woman that show and never put it on the air.
Hopefully they make Civil War.
So wait, was that actually made, that terrible Wonder Woman that we all saw pictures from and went, oh, that's going to be terrible?
I've seen it.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
But
But
Just the pilot?
yeah, just the pilot.
Yeah, just the
With it's got Carrie Ellis in it,
yeah.
and I liked it though. Most people did. It wasn't.
I'm
Perfect,
a
but-
sucker for
Yeah,
superhero
it wasn't-
content.
Yeah,
I don't
like-
care how bad it is.
Yeah.
Like, if you just produce some freaking superhero
Better than any
content,
other
I'm-
Wonder Woman thing I've seen.
you know.
in a
I was about to
while.
say, it was better than a lot of, like, that's what I was going to say. I'm like, it's better than a lot of Wonder Woman stuff out there.
Yeah, that's. Anyway.
I bet we could film a Wonder Woman short tomorrow at WonderCon and it would be better than any of the Wonder Woman stuff that's currently out.
Should do that.
do that. Calling all Wonder Women, or really just one. We only need
Ivy
one.
Doom Kitty is doing Wonder Woman tomorrow. She's got a hell of a following.
Cool.
Sort of an all-star Wonder Woman cast.
Yes. I'm telling Wonder Woman the musical. I want a chorus kick line of Wonder Women.
Yeah.
All right, we'll tackle Joss and see if he can direct that for us.
Words of Wonder Woman. I don't know. Yeah.
So we'll, I guess we'll
Maybe
wrap it
the
up for
Republican
that
Party
for
film.
this show, and we'll talk about next week.
Yeah,
next
we
week's
got.
film.
Oh yeah.
So we were gonna have a guest for next
to
week,
pick the film,
but our guest didn't have Netflix Instant Watch. So your guess you picked. That didn't.
so good.
It kind of makes it tough to watch the movies we're discussing.
You know the quality of show by the quality of the guest, and if the guest can't afford Netflix,
No, well, that's just it. Chooses not to. It's not. He's a weird type of person.
But his pinky's too far up
We'll-
to use Netflix.
We'll hope to have this guest on sometime and maybe set him up with something. But for now, we're actually going to take our first viewer recommendation. We
Fan
did
pick,
actually
fan pick.
get a fan pick, and it's one that I was going to have. It was on my list to watch anyway.
On my list, too.
Yeah, so I haven't seen this since it came out. I don't.
I've
think.
seen it so many times.
Okay.
I don't know if it's on my
amazing.
list.
I have it too, and I just haven't
it's
rewatched it,
not
so I'm
Monty
excited to
Python.
rewatch it. But we were going to be
You better like
discussing.
this. I'm gonna be so mad if you do
Better
not.
not
Are
Monty
you a
Python.
fan of stripy costumes, Johnny Depp, and
crybaby.
crazy, Danny Elfman score with doing crazy circus stuff and
Who's
that
Johnny
kind of
Depp
stuff?
and Danny Elfman?
Okay, this is actually doesn't have a lot of that stuff in it, but it is directed by Tim Burton.
Okay.
And
Who usually does
Who
this.
usually does this. This
Fight
is kind
Club.
of an
Oh,
exception. Yes, Tim Burton's Fight Club. We're going to be watching that next
That'd be
week,
awesome.
starring Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter. And
Never let those two sing again, please.
Yeah, all right.
Especially no,
Yeah, all right.
no. They butchered Sweeney Todd, and Helena Bonham Carter, like, not that Les Mis was really watchable anyway. But
Hey,
she
Bruno
made it
did it
worse.
right.
She was my
He was
least-
the only good thing.
Yeah.
The only good thing in the whole damn movie was the idiot that was in it for comic relief, who hasn't made a good picture ever in his life.
Are you
It
Borat?
was the one guy with
Borat
an
was
I
accent.
don't want to go off on a
Genius.
tangent
The
here.
one guy
Oh,
with an
God.
accent that was supposed to have that accent.
Tim Burton do
Are you
something
calling
original
her
good. It was actually.
Anne Hathaway. Not like Anne Hathaway in that.
Whatever, she fucking cried. Can I swear, by the way?
No!
Okay.
Well, this is the internet. You
Fuck,
can't, you can't swear on the internet. Damn it.
She cried.
So what?
He's
gonna be
give
on
her an
us so
Academy
hard.
Award for that?
All right,
Come on.
all right. We will discuss this
So
later.
what's the next movie?
She was in
When
it
we
for
yell
10
about
minutes
it-
and she got an Academy Award.
We will bring you back for yelling about Les Mis. All right, but for right now, next week, go watch Big Fish, directed by Tim Burton. All right, let's talk about this next week.
We
You
will
can-
talk about
right.
this next week.
Yeah, go on.
I get to be mad
There's-
next week.
My
I have a
mom
feeling.
was like,
Oh.
"This is the best movie ever. We're gonna watch it with me," and I was just like,
So we'll watch it again. I haven't seen it in a while.
Okay.
Have you seen it recently?
"No."
Okay, so we haven't. We
haven't
need to
seen it.
rewatch it.
Don't
He's
care.
seen it a bunch of times.
It's
This was
Tim
a
Burton
viewer
film, 'cause it's
request.
nothing like anything else.
Sounds
We'll do that
good.
next week.
It's actually.
Yeah. Remember to subscribe and how about we haven't said this before? How about share with your friends?
That's good.
That'll be good.
There.
That'll help.
That'll help us.
That's true.
Tell someone else about
our
this.
small niche dedicated.
Because if somebody
Yeah.
tells
You know,
two
I want to see
people,
this because I want to know what
And
we're
they
actually
tell
like.
two
Is it going to be like
people. Yeah.
Japanese theater, a fireplace
There's-
behind us and everything?
There's all sorts of
Green
monsters
screen
coming
right
back
now, just
here,
to
and
take
this
my
is,
curtain.
if you see, there's yeah.
it's gonna look like a map, but it's gonna end up being bowls.
There. Yeah, it's all gonna be.
Here, I'm
going
going to do some acting.
These
real
are
quick. I'm gonna
bowls.
Take a sip, and I'm going to put it on the little nightstand that's right there, and you're just going to digitize that in later.